It's the same, right? We chill at home, so
Hmm?
it's like chilling at home only. It's just a mic.
Yeah. So that's why, like, I really want to make my podcast in such a way that it's more of a conversation. It's not like an interview sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the way we discussed the other day about the religion thing, and that's why I asked you, like, bro, can we do this podcast? Because I really want to discuss this thing. And so whenever I'm on this side of the discourse, like when we are talking about the religion, I haven't seen anyone talking about that thing intellectually. And yeah, bro, no one talks about religion intellectually, trust me.
So no one is stupid enough to think about that stuff for a long period of time, probably. But yeah,
because they just want to be in their bubble. People who are like elder, maybe like about 30, 35 and like middle-aged people.
Calling me old in different languages.
Huh?
Calling me old in different languages.
No. So these kind of people are like rigid on their thought process.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them, but like I'm talking about my parents and everyone, middle-aged people mostly, they're very rigid about it. And people of our age are like, they don't care.
Yeah.
They are they call themselves atheist, or we could say spiritual, but they don't know what this means. So yeah. So for this part of podcast, as I told you, like I'm gonna keep it in a structured way because let's talk about religion. And I know that you are an atheist and you are in Catholic.
In Catholic? Oh yeah, I left religion long back.
Long back. Yeah. So you are a Catholic. You were a Catholic.
I still am a Catholic. I mean, it's an identity, I think.
It's identity.
Yeah.
It's attached to you because you were born in that.
Yeah,
thing,
I mean, I'm born in a Catholic family, brought up in a Catholic family. I'm used to all the rituals. I know all the prayers.
Okay.
I still go to church once in a while. I mean, my parents are very religious. My sisters are very religious. So.
Okay. So do you think like religious, like they are like very ritualistic?
Not ritualistic. They believe.
They believe. Okay.
Yeah.
They believe in an entity which exists.
Yeah, they believe in Jesus. Not really Jesus Christ, but.
They believe in a divine power.
Yeah, they believe in a divine power, and they think that they can channel it through Jesus Christ. Is probably the best way I can put it.
Right. I think I'm going to discuss that thing like in a bit. What is the correct way of looking at religion? Like if you are not an atheist, if you don't want to be on the extreme side, because it takes a lot of guts to be on the extreme side.
Nobody's an atheist, right? I mean, you always hear this Richard Dawkins and like Christopher Hitchens, they all say it. Like you can't ever be an atheist. Like you can never ever be an atheist. Yeah,
you are following certain kind of religion in a certain way.
Not just that way. I mean, atheism, technically there is nothing called atheism. Because atheism is just the rejection of theism. It's atheism.
Oh, okay.
You just put the two words together, it's atheism. It's the rejection of theism. Theism is obviously belief in God.
Right.
So it's something that is not. So it is something that is not. So it's like darkness in a way. It's absence of light.
It's not like a concept like theism. Like theism in itself is a concept.
Yeah.
And just not following theism is basically atheism.
Yeah. So like, I mean, because otherwise you can't label it, right? So imagine an atheist in Saudi Arabia. Imagine an atheist in India. And imagine an atheist in, I don't know, Brazil. Very Catholic country,
right?
So all three geographical places, three different cultures, problems they are going through, they arrive at the same conclusion that there is no God.
Right.
Or, okay, it doesn't make sense. That is a conclusion that they arrive at. Okay. Not that there is no God. Because you can't be sure that there is no God. Nobody can be sure about it.
Okay. It's again a metaphysical question, and we are just, what's this called, like evidence of, there's some line or something like evidence related, like you don't have evidence because that's why you just say it. This doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, a God of gaps.
God of gaps. Yeah, God of gaps. And that's why this extreme theist pound upon the atheist people because of this gap thing.
Yeah.
Because we haven't answered all the things in the world.
Yeah.
And so I think like I will just come to that. And because when I'm talking, a lot of things I want to talk about, like Jainism and everything, or
I'm not an authority in any of these figures. I just have.
We are just discussing it. We are just trying to come up with a good discussion which people can think about, and people, if someone is listening, we are not trying to offend anyone here. And
we might.
I'm not an atheist yet, because I do have a very proclivity towards religion, towards the thought process of inherent reasoning behind religion, like why religion exists. So we'll just come to that. So I want to start with this. Because when we ask the question of religion, it comes from the morality. Okay, it comes from the morality because let's go back to the like evolutionary times when we were like hunter gatherers, right?
Yeah.
We are chasing animals, we are looking for food, we are eating, that's it, right? But there's a time comes in when the agricultural revolution comes in, and we know how to now grow crops and everything, right? And now we start thinking. And when we are in a group, we need certain morality, we need certain kind of, what is right and wrong. And there's the concept of God comes in, because for example, if there's a society and we two exist in the society, we two can just come up with a thing, okay, you know what, this is right or wrong, and it's easy to come on consensus when it's just us two, right? But when there is a lot of people comes in, there's a group of people like 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 1,000, lakhs, the morality, the deciding what is right and wrong becomes difficult. And then there's a need of God, or then there's a need of community, and then religion comes in, and people just form a sort of, just to have that moral principles, because if there is no morality, people are going to kill each other, and there is no humanity as such, right?
I agree with all of that.
Because animals as such doesn't have religion, doesn't have community. That's why they can do anything. There's no moral principles, that there's no moral code of conduct among animals, right?
Not really.
Okay.
Elephants do bury their dead.
Okay. This is an interesting idea. Okay. So whatever I said, like the morality,
Not
decides?
all elephants.
Who decides?
There have been practices of elephants burying dead.
There's a specific breed of elephants.
There is a YouTube, I think, documentary about it. So there's this elephant matriarch. So elephant herds are always led by matriarchs. So the female elephant. So it's never the bull elephant who is in charge of the. I know why we are talking about this.
There's no alpha.
So it's actually the matriarch who this thing, and all the big rogue elephants you see, troublemakers, they are the ones who have been kicked out from the herd because they are troublemakers. So elephants have a very complex society.
They want peace in the.
Yeah, they want peace. They are not, maybe they are trying to mate with the females when they are not in mating season or whatever. Not mating season, when they don't want to mate or something. I mean, they are very socially aware, very. How do I say, very developed animals.
Right.
So there have been instances where like an elephant's matriarch have died, and the elephant herd's coming back to the place where she has died every year, paying respect.
Oh, that's really cool. Like, they are living the life, bro.
Yeah.
They are living the way every human should know. Yeah, we should learn from them.
You've seen the memes going around,
Yeah.
right? I swear they know what's going on, but they don't just have to pay the taxes.
All right. So okay. So when this morality question comes in, what is right and wrong, and this is on an evolutionary level, because you agree with me, like this is how religion is formed.
I digressed. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because I agreed with everything you said.
And what's your take on that?
This thing is that the argument is not that it is not, it is God.
Mm-hmm.
So the construct of God, at least the way I believe right now, it's made up, and it's made up in stories.
Okay.
So if you go back to prehistoric times, right? Like let's say, I don't know, 7,000 years back.
Okay.
8,000 years back, or whatever.
This is again the agricultural revolution coming in.
Somewhere around those times.
Yeah, because I think there was an excavation in Rakhi Gadi recently, and we found out that the agricultural revolution was like, I think 9,000 years ago.
The first agriculture, when we realized
9,000
we
years
can
ago,
own a piece of land. And he talks about in Sapiens.
Yeah. So before you start with this, I just want to just talk about this morality first, and just clear the topic out, like why morality is important. That's it. Like then we can just digress.
Morality, we are social beings, right? And morality is some sort of guidance, I would say, for us to function peacefully in a society.
Right.
So let's say, what do you think is immoral?
What is right and wrong? Yeah.
Yeah, it is something that is against the permitted things in society.
Okay.
There were I'm not saying it's always right or wrong. There were times when there was homosexuality was wrong or immoral. It was a criminal offense. You could be tried and be killed for it. You could have been killed for reading Bible in English.
English?
Yeah, you would have been I think burned to death in England.
Bible was written in Hebrew, right?
Yeah.
Hebrew.
Yeah, it was in Hebrew, but I think you were supposed to read it in Latin or something. I forgot what the actual language was supposed to be.
So it's like a blasphemy or something like that. Something. Okay, got it. Okay, so again, because individual morality, this is how I think about things.
So just to answer, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so individual morality among people so for example, I have a certain individual morality which is objective to myself, right? And then with the similar kind of morality, 2, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 people will come in and they will come up with a subjective morality, because that objective morality and now converted into a subjective morality. And now those 10 people will decide, okay, you know what, because we have this subjectivity around this morality, we agree upon these common things, let's call it a religion, right? This is how religion is formed, right? Okay. So this is just, because this I just want to make a base on it, because we are going to discuss why religion is important when it's come to morality, and can morality exist when there is no religion?
That was my argument. That was
now you can just start. And
what I would say on that is that again, I have not read upon too much into it. This is what whatever I think from whatever I've read and heard and whatever. But what I think is that it is evolutionary. Like it is there is a cause for it to be evolutionary, because we are social beings, right? And in society, it's programmed for you to survive by helping each other. It might not have been 1 lakh people. It might have been intended for like a group of 300 people.
Okay.
And humans as a species have come so much in the last 3,000 years, and in evolutionary span of times, 3,000 years is nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like thousands of years. Like we are 1 lakh years or something. Yeah. Evolutionary level. Like if we think about evolution,
So it's a very short span in time. It's not enough time for humans to change. So, but in prehistoric times, when everything was not easily accessible or movable, you were living in a smaller set of groups, like how you would see people in Amazon society right now. And what I believe is that in such a society, it is integral and imperative that people help each other.
Okay.
Like how a chimpanzee family would function. There are loving relationships within each other. So like you feel good when you help somebody, right? You feel something like, at least I feel something radiating from it. Like when I genuinely feel like I have done something good.
And then there is no reason behind this feeling, right? This is just evolutionary thing which is happening.
That's what I feel. So I feel like...
because no one came and told us that, you know what, if you help someone, you'll feel good. It just came into us and
exactly.
and we are doing it.
It's like everything else. Like, what is it? Like, you put your hand on fire, you burn it. And you get pain. And the pain is so that you remove your hand. It's an evolutionary...
It's a signal that...
you remove your hand. So why can't the reverse... I mean, I'm not postulating a new whatever it is. I'm just saying. I mean...
we are just talking about the parallel universe.
I'm not postulating some new radical scientific theory here. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there could be some sort of an evolutionary this to help people. And the moral... like the way we understand it is morality. And then we put rules into it. Because during times, right, like, again, think about this like 6,000 years back. So if you just go to a random person and say this, do this, they'll be asking, why the hell should I do it?
They'll ask the question.
There's no point in me doing it. If maybe like...
don't kill the person. Don't kill anyone.
Why?
This is just a rule. But why? They don't have the answer, because there's nothing right or wrong. He doesn't have the concept of if this is something immoral or moral, because they don't have it.
Even the most intelligent person, if somebody who was 2 times more intelligent than Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein, if that is possible, if that person was born in that century, he or she would not have been able to come to grasp with universe and whatnot, because the amount of knowledge you knew at that point, you didn't even know 1 + 1 was 2 at that point, right? You didn't even know, like, probably they did, who knows, but humans are smarter than we think. So
got it.
So that's what I think the basis for morality is. And then religion was like, right now we have constitution. And we agree that to live in a society, whoever lives within that geographical boundary abides by that constitutional rules, so that we can have a peaceful functioning society. I believe that religion was similar.
Okay, it's just set of rules and few people deciding, okay, you know what, this is a set of rules.
Micro groups and micro identities happening, and then then expanding it further.
Okay.
I mean, why do you think like Islam and Christianity are the biggest religion in the world?
Why?
Because they conquered most of the world at this point in time. Simple reason. There's no other reason. Not because... personally, again, I'm an atheist. I'm not subscribing to any views. Not because I think that one version is truer than the other. It's purely because let's say some Maharaja from India didn't conquer South America
Right.
in 1600s. If he or she would have, Latin America would have been Hindu right now.
Yeah.
Like Myanmar and Burma, they have Hindu temples. Europe doesn't. Why?
Because we didn't go
Yeah.
there and conquer them.
Yeah, but Myanmar, like those areas, Angkor Wat,
Yeah,
and all,
Indonesia, Bali,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they have.
it's who conquered more and at what period in time.
Yeah, and
So-
they just influenced. They
Yeah.
just created what I would say. There's a concept called cultural hegemony, and
Yeah, cultural
So,
hegemony is. I mean, I would say that cultural hegemony is almost ingrained to human nature.
but don't you think it's controlled?
It is.
High people like
Yeah,
powerful people
it is
control
getting
it.
misused.
Misuse, right?
Yeah. No, because I also think that cultural hegemony, in a way, allowed us to survive. Because-
Like, can you explain this thing?
Again, this is my thoughts. Because we are intensely tribal. Whenever we feel passionate about anything, we are intensely tribal.
Okay.
I can say very
And when you say tribal, we just walk in a group.
emotion.
Emotional. Okay. Emotional. Okay.
So tribal emotion. So I would say sports is something that I follow very closely.
What?
Sports.
Oh, sports, yeah,
And
yeah.
football, I'm soccer nut.
So when you say tribal emotional, like the thing is when it's tribal emotional, it's like walking in a group, right?
Not just working in a group. It's having that intense, intense feelings. Like you would say, like for something.
Or something. Okay.
Okay, I would say,
Passion.
passionate dislike or hatred or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever they do, they do passionately.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
like it's like wild or like
Mhm.
extremely high.
Yeah.
So what I would say is like I am a huge Man United fan. Right now, not a good time.
Uh-huh.
I've never set foot in England. Okay. I have never met anybody. I have met people from Manchester. I've never met a single person from Liverpool. I hate Liverpool with all my guts. Why? I born in Cochin. Sorry, born in like Kerala, Cochin. I'm
Yeah,
from
and
Pala.
you don't have cultural elements to either of the
like,
teams.
For a kid born in Manchester to hate Liverpool is not
Makes sense, yeah.
natural. Like there is like historic connections of big cities and
Yeah.
that Liverpool was a port town, Manchester was
Yeah.
an industrial town,
Yeah.
so their products used to get taxed. So there is a cultural reason there. Why do I like this? Because I feel very passionately towards United, so I'm supposed to hate this. India, Pakistan, I don't care. You're Indian, right? I don't care how liberal you think you are. There was a point in your time when you used to think Pakistan is Obar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no Indian kid in India can say no. Who was born and brought up in India.
It's just cultural conditioning. Because you're around people.
That's what I'm saying. So this cultural hegemony comes from that tribal nature. Back in the
Ah.
days, this tribal nature, this intense bonding
Yeah.
together, it bonds you together. That hate and
Yeah.
like passion. Like it makes you fight more. It makes you want to protect more. It makes you want to conquer more. It makes you want to do everything more.
Yeah.
So it helps you. So I feel like it's like this
Interesting.
two sides of the same coin, like in a way.
And this makes sense with this quote, like you are the average of the 5 people around you. And so that thought process like builds onto you and you just you're just trying to protect the people around you and in your same drive with the same thought process. And I think that's why people, so I've read this concept in psychology called social identity theory. So it's about like associating yourself to a group. Because you can't function in a society when you are not associating yourself to a group.
Yeah,
and again this comes in, like even if you say you are atheist, you again try to associate yourself in a certain group.
I have often thought about this.
And that is the base of religion.
Yeah, no, I actually think, it's a very funny, it's very nihilistic. So what I've thought is like, in olden times, wars used to happen due to religion. Okay? The main reason, or the what is said as one of the main reasons for the war. It could be the interior motive. Could be
how long you're talking about?
I don't know. Whenever any new religion was created.
But don't you think like people created religion just to avoid wars?
No, I think they created religion to have peace in their society.
But if there's peace in their society and
but wars never happen within the society. I mean, civil wars can happen, obviously, but usually the wars I'm talking about were like you go and have war with another country, like the Crusades or or the Caliphate. How like before Islam was founded in 700
Mm-hmm.
something. Before that, there was Saudi Arabian people, and there were, I think, Zoroastrians,
Yeah.
Farsis, Persians, and everything. How do you think they became Islam, like Muslims?
Yeah.
But, like, there was one time there when Islam went up till Spain, so the place in Granada were very Islamic. Turkey is still now. Turkey was very Catholic.
Yeah.
So Turkey, so the Istanbul right now was the capital of the Byzantine Empire, the eastern wing of the Roman Empire. So when you think of Roman Empire, you usually think of the Western Roman Empire. That happened in the earlier time. So that disintegrated by, I think, around 600.
The Greece part and everything.
The Italy part, the Rome part. That part. But the eastern side, that stayed till the 11th century, I think, and then it was the Ottomans, Mehmed the Conqueror. There's a Netflix documentary about it, actually.
What was the documentary?
I forgot its name. I didn't watch it because I knew the story, but yeah. So Mehmed the Conqueror came in and...
From where?
He was the Ottoman Empire.
Okay.
So it was the other part.
Okay, and he came in like Turkey, and that...
The fall of Constantinople is one of the biggest events in human history.
Oh.
Like, maybe European history. Who knows what happened in India or Latin America at that point.
And I think it makes sense because people would think that religion is the solution to the wars, but it's not, because if you see Pakistan being so extreme religious as a Islamic country, have like a lot of problems, and again it comes to Russia being like communist and not so inclined towards religion, are war-prone countries, right?
Yeah, to that I would say religion is something that I reject because it is the most exterior, it's the most evident form of expression. But like any set of authoritarianism, so like communist Russia was authoritarian.
Yeah.
Like there are no, like you couldn't buy a car, you couldn't.
Still, Stalin, Hitler.
Yeah. Like communist Russia was extremely this thing. I mean, at that point he was a god. Stalin was a god.
Yeah.
So it was like what, replace religion, replace
Kim
Jesus.
Jong.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un. I mean, there's
no religion there. Yeah.
You replace that with Kim Jong-il, his grandfather who's never died.
Yeah. And I think it makes sense.
Before I lose this train of thought, what I was saying was, so at first it was religion, then it became countries, like outwardly country, nationalistic pride towards countries. That was there earlier also.
Okay.
And a lot of wars were done over that, the intrinsic country pride.
Right.
Prehistoric times also. But then it became countries. Now I feel like it would be something else that we can't even imagine. Could be Apple versus Android, who knows. Like, I mean, it goes into what you said about that identity thing. Like, even that
association of
I'm an Apple guy or I'm an Android guy.
Yeah, they want to associate themselves to a group.
You always would want to do that. I mean, otherwise, who are you?
Right.
You're social at the end, right?
So, okay, again, so coming back to the morality part. So, just to have that moral principles, they made a religion and they made a deity. They made a supreme power.
Yeah.
So, what's your argument for this? Like, because there should be a morality in the society, and because of the evolutionary thing, the answer is creating a religion and creating a god or creating a figure, authoritative figure, which is untouched, which is sacred, and which is the highest power of. Like, you look up to.
More than that, it's all knowing and all seeing. That I think is more important. Like more than the sacred part, I feel like the all knowing and the all seeing is the more important part.
So if this is the answer, then how do you think that if there is no religion, how there will be a morality in the society if you are saying that there is no need of religion? Because being an atheist, we are against the religion, right? The idea of religion, right?
I mean, so I think religion was useful at some point.
Okay.
It was useful at some point. Like I said, it was a story made up of whatever it is. Like what is a constitution? It's a set of things that you make up. Similarly, religion is a set of things that you make up.
Yeah.
Maybe like in future, it might not be constitution of a country. I know if you colonize Mars, what is a country anymore? Like it could be something else. It could be. I mean that will change, but nobody thinks that the Constitution of India or US was written by divine interpretation or divine whatever intervention. I mean, it is human at the end. But at that point, probably you, I mean, again, hypothesis, probably you couldn't get away with it. You needed something more, something like, because there are no rules at that point, right? So an all-seeing, all-knowing thing, entity makes sense. Like, if you do this, even if you kill him in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, there is still somebody who is saying this. And you are still going to be accountable for this. So even though you probably might feel bad if you kill him, that probably is not big enough incentive for me to not kill somebody.
This means that we need God, right?
No, we needed the concept of God at that point. But now we have rules.
But still, what if there are certain places where like rules are not stringent, but still we need the morality? What if someone is not watching you? What if someone doesn't have a proof that you killed someone? And then the world will be chaos, right?
Yeah,
then we still need the God, right?
I never said that there was no use for religion or whatever. It's just that it's not true. I mean, you are saying it is a lie or not to do it based on a lie, thinking that it will make everything better.
Okay.
Isn't that it's what's happening, right? I mean, at least from my point of view. I'm an atheist, right? So, or I believe that way. So, for me, you're saying like, okay, all of this is good. Don't do any of it. Okay, the Indian Penal Code and the US law system,
the Constitution,
also says everything that is said in the this thing, but there is nothing attached to it. I mean, this is enough for me right now.
Okay.
Thus, I mean, it's like what? You had horse carriages at some point. Now you have cars. Tomorrow you would have something else. There might be people who are very fond of horse carriages even now. Very fond of horses. It's okay. I mean, you can pursue it. It's your hobby. Who is stopping you? I mean, pursue it. But the moment that horse carriage guy starts walking around in the road saying that, okay, on a highway that's going at 100 miles, 80 miles per hour, I need my horse to go at 30 miles per hour, then that becomes a problem.
Okay, got it.
It's the conflict. I mean, don't view it as sacred. I mean, the problem with religion is that, just extending the analogy further, they would say that the horse carriage is the only way to move forward.
So you don't want people to like fixate on a certain thing. There can be other things also which you can use to travel.
Yeah, I think that is a good philosophy. This is a very common philosophy actually called skepticism.
Skepticism.
Yeah, skepticism.
Okay.
So, do you know Stephen Fry?
No.
Okay. He's a British author, comedian, national treasure, really intelligent guy. So I came across this concept through him. So he was like questioning everything in a good way. Like, yeah, put it there. Don't ask your dad, why should I put it there? But maybe ask yourself, what is this thing?
What's the problem if we don't put it there, right?
Yeah. I mean,
so rather than asking the question of why do I do it, like what's wrong if I do it?
I mean, not really. I mean, if your dad asks you to put something, you probably should. That was a very bad example. I mean, what I meant was, even scientists say, right? Somebody says a world is round, Earth is round. We all believe it like a dogma now.
Yeah, it's a dogma. We just because we haven't seen Earth.
Earth is round.
Earth is round. Yeah.
No, Earth is actually in reality it is round.
Yeah, it's in reality because we have just figured out, but we haven't seen it.
Yeah, we
don't know the North Pole. We don't know the South Pole, but we believe that there's North Pole and there's South Pole. Yeah.
No, I mean, so at least take the effort to understand things. I mean, if you are religiously advocating for it. So like, you can always do that, right? At least ask.
Yeah.
Ask this question if you're religiously advocating for it. If somebody is saying this thing is wrong, and if 20 other people are saying no, this is okay, then is there a reason why it can be okay, or can it be okay?
Just don't be dogmatic about it. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Oh, long-winded question on morality.
No, bro. Actually, just our sponsors. You can open the sponsors, like they'll be happy if anyone is watching.
Oh yeah, I mean Indra Nui. Indians. Not Indians, right? I mean that's a joke because Indra Nui was a Pepsi CEO.
Pepsi CEO, yeah.
And she was Indian.
She just support the Indians.
Nah.
And that's a fair point around morality. But again, so this question comes in. So I was from Sam Harris. I think he talks about the morality in terms of being rational.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about this idea? So he treats
Could be, I mean,
he treats morality as a rational thing. Like for example, like consequentialism. So how do we decide? How do we establish a morality? Like if we don't need the religion, because these guys, the four horsemen, they think.
Yeah.
They don't need the religion.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So do you know about this? So like you can go on and just tell me about this. Like,
No. I mean, I think that is similar to what I said, right? I mean, it is again an extrapolation of what I mean. They said like, is it right or wrong? What is right is probably something that either helps the society or makes you feel good. If it makes you feel good but makes the society bad, you'll still know that it is wrong. For example, doing something against somebody's consent. Like, if I am stealing something from somebody, I know that I am taking their possession. Right?
Yeah.
But it might give me pleasure. I might still do it, knowing that it is bad.
So I think again, so the idea of these modern atheists is like thinking about the morality as a rational thing, rather than bringing someone else to set up a set of rules and blindly following them. You can just use a rational thing and just so this is what the consequentialism idea of consequentialism comes in. So what they say is like, if you want to decide what is moral, just think about what are the consequences of it.
Yeah.
And if you know the consequences of it, you can just decide if this is moral or immoral, rather than having or establishing an entity and having a set of rules. So this is the idea they have against the, when it comes to religion.
No. I mean, yeah, the what is right, what is moral, immoral, I agree with that actually at the end. I mean, I think it goes along with what I was saying. Again, I mean, not exactly, but it is not. I think it's the same strain of thought. I've heard that argument. I've actually seen that interview or whatever that. Yeah. So like this comes back to me. But yeah, I think it's.
It was a heated debate between Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris about it, and it was a heated one. Like, bro, like I love that debate, and I sort of partially agree with Peterson also, and sometimes I agree with Sam Harris also. Like, I'm just still in the process of absorbing things.
Yeah, and I mean, the as far as religion, Jordan Peterson's argument of religion coming up, evolving from or God was it. So I'm first talking about that being a religion. I don't know whether he talked about it, but if he did, I agree with that. In the sense that using religion as a structure in the society to bring control to it. And
so you agree with this?
Yeah, because that's what I said, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what
we needed initially, right?
We needed it initially.
But so why do you say that? So okay, so let's discuss about this. We have established that we need religion.
We need it.
We needed religion. Okay, so like let's come to this topic.
I mean,
why don't we need religion right now?
I would say one other thing. Religion is the thing that we came up with. Probably that must have been the easiest way.
It's a human design. It's a human design. We haven't derived the image of human from the God. We have derived the image of God from the human.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying
is...
And
we just made it divine.
Yeah, 100%. But what I'm saying is, doesn't matter where you're from, everybody had a concept of God.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, right?
It's again evolution, so it builds up, yeah.
It builds up. So, yeah, you needed it at that point to function till a point, but then I don't see the need for it right now.
So why? Like, I need the reasoning behind it. Like, why do you think we don't need the...
So, like,
we don't need religion right now?
The point I was trying to make earlier, I lost a train of thought. So, what I was trying to say was like, so we came up with religion in order maybe for this tribalistic nature, because that was needed for us to live at that point in time. Mm-hmm. So we came up with it. We came up with it based on a lie, probably.
Based on a lie of what? What was the lie?
There is some divine thing controlling everything. So
because we didn't have the answers, we didn't have science. So
no. Again, goes back to what I was saying. Maybe you needed some sort of control. to
entity, authority.
Yeah.
And
That's why I think, like, at least in my very skewed observation, that all-knowing and all-seeing is a very important part.
Explain.
So,
this to me.
okay, that might be a very Christian or
It's fine. Let's just go on.
Judaist concept. So, like, at least in Abrahamic religions, even in Hindu religions, actually, God is all-knowing. So, if something happens, Vishnu knows about it, or Vishnu can know about it, right?
Yeah.
And like, there is nothing that happens in the universe without X God knowing about it. You can replace that X God with Jesus
God
Christ.
is watching you, and whatever you do, he watches you and everything.
So that is all seeing.
Yeah.
You cannot hide from anything.
Yeah.
And then all knowing, similar thing. Like, even if maybe he didn't see it, but you thought about it. So even a thought is a sin or a crime. Like thinking about something.
Yeah, interesting. Thinking about it is also a crime.
Yeah. In Christianity, there is a concept. I mean, it's there in Bible. So it says, if your right hand causes you to sin, cut your right hand off. If your eye causes you to sin, churn your eyes out and throw it out.
Very barbarian thought, bro.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but that was common, right? I mean, in every religion there is barbarian thought, there is human sacrifice, there is sacrifice of animals. I mean, it's just the same thing.
But so here's my argument, and I think monotheistic religions mostly have the barbarian thought, and we'll just talk about it in a minute. I just want to talk about this thing, and so why we need, and so whatever we talked about, like, as you know, and the difference. So this is the difference which I have realized. We discuss about the theist versus atheist, but when it comes to Indian religion, it's different. So in Indian religion, we say astic and nastic.
Yeah.
Right. And the meaning of astic and nastic, it's not same as atheist and theist. So in Indian religion, astic is the religion which follows, which accepts the rules of Vedas.
Yeah.
Right. And nastic is which doesn't accept the rules of Vedas. And so this is the difference, which I just,
Yeah, I mean, even in that concept, I would say the Vedas have probably, I mean, it's still a good moral structure, but not everything in the Vedas can be followed in current society, right?
So this is why we came up with a lot of religions in India, and that's why I would get this topic later on, like why I think that Indian religions has done justice with the.
That's true with all religions, though, to an extent. I mean, I do agree with the thought process that Indian religions, or let's say Japanese religions, or Nordic religions, or Greek religions, they're all better than Abrahamic religions, possibly.
Yeah.
Probably, because I think I've told you about this before, but they encourage the belief in everything. So, like, you're not naturally inclined to say that you're wrong or what you're doing is this thing. So anything can be a god.
This comes in, like, when we talk about polytheistic and pantheistic.
So this is the Indian religion versus, like, generally when you say Indian religion versus outside religion, what you think of is monotheistic religion versus pantheistic religion. You're not thinking of Zeus, and you're not thinking of Odin, or you're not thinking of any of the Amazonian gods. You're thinking of Jesus Christ and Allah, right?
Yeah.
So that is Abrahamic religions. That is just a very small subset of religions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you think about it, Abrahamic religions or the monotheistic religion would be like 0.001% of the total number of religion. Like, even just in Africa or India, there could be, like, combined, there could be 1 million religions.
Right.
And all of them have thousands of gods. So, going back to this monotheism, like, in a monotheistic belief, only what you believe is true.
Okay, there's only one entity, and that is the only entity which decides.
No, that is the truth. That is the truth.
Okay,
that is the truth. There is no other way.
Okay.
If you go any other way, you are damned to eternal hellish experience.
Okay.
Eternal deprivation or whatever it is. So it comes out in different ways in different cultures. But that only I am right, whatever else is wrong. So if you are ingrained into that culture thought process, and combine the tribal nature of humans that I put into it earlier. And let's say if you are a Christian, right? So imagine a Christian trying to convert somebody in the 16th century. And if you're a hardcore Christian, it is your moral obligation to convert somebody.
I think it's written in the it's written in the Bible, which Old Testament, right?
Yeah, even forget that.
There's a what do you call it? There's a verse or something like
this is that, spread my word to the entire world. So entire world.
And also, we'll just talk about this later because I want to like clear a few things out. So
we can just talk about it now. No, like just let it flow through. Or if you want to have a
I don't have a structure. So all right, okay. So I think I have read this thing in one of the Old Testament Bible that it says, "I am a jealous God." There's this thing.
Jealous God. Possibly.
And this is the thing, because I'm telling you,
I don't know. I've read Bible, but I have scrutinized Bible also, so that is not something that I recollect.
Yeah, so
it's most of what I've done is
in the verse Exodus 25 states that you shall not bow down to the idols or worship them.
Yeah, idol worshippers.
I, the Lord, am a jealous God.
Yeah, this is when, I remember the story now. I think this is when, Moses was leading the the Israelites out of Egypt. And they were...
the river thing and...
they were looking for, in Malayalam, it's called Canaan Desham.
What?
It's called Canaan Desham. I mean, most of my Bible knowledge is in Malayalam, actually.
So what does this mean?
So, no, Canaan Desham is actually the promised land. I think it's actually Israel. You can Google probably the names, probably Canaan or something. Anyhow, whatever it is, it's a promised land. So, Moses was leading the slaves liberated. So, Israelites were slaves under Egyptians. And then, so the story goes how it is. It's like Israelites at that time, Jews, or Israel's, that it's the name of that promised land. People of Israel is the people of that promised land in Bible. So, and they're the descendants of Abraham.
Okay.
I am an Abraham.
Are you a proud Abraham?
No. I want to make a joke, but then I'm not gonna.
It would be controversial. People will like sit up from their chairs and like, what is this?
That'll probably make your show go viral. No,
it's a good thing you don't want to come on internet, because I'm going to take a neutral stance here. And if you're coming on internet, people are going to... So keep your account private, okay?
I'm not
There's a possibility that you can...
No, like I said, it was a joke, not my opinion.
It was a joke,
No, I didn't say anything. I was only thinking about it. Like I said earlier, thinking about it could be...
So you are a proud Abraham.
No, because I was baptized Abraham.
What is baptism?
Baptism is... if you're not baptized, you're not Catholic. So baptism is the process of becoming a Catholic. So when you're born, it can be done at any point in time, but generally it is with Catholic children. It's done within the first 4 of.
Is it same like Janayu and Brahmin?
Janayu is like the threading ceremony.
So what happens when you...
Nothing. You get... you're a toddler. You just get pushed down into the water and then come back.
So you are like... Okay, got it. I've seen that. I've seen that in movies.
Yeah, but that probably is the Baptist version where you have seen. So Catholic version is you're a kid and then... It's a ritual, basically.
Okay, it's a ritual.
The other thing is also a process, but this is in baptism... not baptism. Protestantism. Baptism is a process that you choose to go through.
Okay.
You're becoming born again. But in Catholicism, you go through baptism if you are alive for 3 months.
So you're supposed to go like it.
You go through.
You were baptized.
Yeah. Okay. So there used to be. I wanted to some question I left unanswered, but anyhow. But like in the early centuries, right? So the concept of original sin was. It's a Moses story. I'll come back later. Yeah. But the original sin was Adam and Eve disobeyed God. And all of humanity, that is the progeny of Adam and Eve, they will all be cursed with original sins. Like, it could be interpreted as anything, could be sex, it could be disobeying God. There are different interpretations of it. But that you're born in sin. So every child is born in sin. Okay. And then the story was, this again goes back, it's a very huge thread. Okay, I'll connect it back to the Moses story because it follows the same thread.
And we are just trying to connect it with this thing, like why they say that I'm a jealous god, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
jealous god. So the jealous god story, I'll say at the end what the scenario was. But what was I saying?
So you were trying to connect the Moses story
to the Jesus one, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So what I was about to say was, so this Moses story, right? So let that Jesus story be there. So what I was saying, this is very important for the entire crux of the story. This goes to the divide of between Judaism and Christianity and Islam.
What is the Jesus story you're talking about?
So I was about to go into a Jesus story.
Okay.
So,
Just go on, yeah.
So the story was Israel people were enslaved by the Egyptian people. And there would be a prophesied savior, which was Moses.
Moses, yeah.
And Moses saved
the guy with that
stick, who parted the seas. And then, so there was this the day of Passover when the god went out and killed every firstborn of every Egyptian household as a retribution for making them slaves, his people slaves, because Israel people are God's people. So they killed the firstborns of every household in Egypt. The god went. So they marked all the Jewish households, and all the non-marked houses were killed. Firstborns were killed. So that's why it's called the Passover, because the houses were passed.
It's just why people are angry for Israel.
So after this happened, the Pharaoh decided to free the people because the god was against Pharaoh and whatever. And then Moses, I think that is how it happened. And then Moses was leading them through the desert. I think they walked around for 20 or 40 years. Because
he's moving with the people of...
he's leading them. He's supposed to lead them to the promised land.
Okay.
But he was not able to find the promised land. So because he got lost in the ways or whatever. Okay. And I think he never reached the promised land also. He died 1 year before because he doubted God, I think, somewhat throughout the process. And the God's punishment was he will never step foot inside the promised land. So I think this is how my memory. I think it's Moses. He never steps foot inside the promised land. Yeah, but in this journey, what happens is that they are walking around for 20 years, and the people are like getting frustrated. They think that the God is not with them, and they start worshipping other gods, paganism and idol worshipping.
Yeah.
So then the gods get.
What is paganism like?
It's just idol worship, anything like other kinds of worship.
Other than Christianity.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could say. Yeah, like other forms of worship.
Yeah. I think polytheism is also like...
Yeah, it's all pagan religions.
Yeah, got it, yeah.
And then everybody who was worshipped or who didn't submit, who were still doing idol worship, they were killed by the god. Jewish god. So that's when he says, I think, I am a jealous god, and it's in Exodus. Like, because the people of Israel worshipped some other god, thinking that their god had forsaken them during the journey. Okay, so again, earlier what I was saying was the concept of original sin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just connecting it all back. So the prophecy is that the original sin will be for not just original sin, like the humans are in sin, and humans' existence will be in sin. And the prophecy is that, I think, the Son of God, not exactly this, I'm like condensing a lot of theory in this, and I don't even know fully, but the Son of God will die for all of humanity and provide salvation for humanity.
This is the prophecy.
This is the prophecy in Judaism. Okay,
got it.
Okay, and Jesus Christ claims to be the Son of God.
And he'll come back?
No. Jesus Christ is the Son of God for Christians.
Okay.
And for Jews, Jesus Christ was somebody who claimed to be the Son of God.
Oh, okay.
And in the in Judaism also, there are like, I think, warnings. I'm not too sure about it, but warnings of other people, antichrist, coming as people who say that I am the Christ or I am the salvation.
Yeah. Okay.
So you see the fundamental divide. I mean, it is irreconcilable.
So like they're confused within.
It's not confused. It's just schism. It's like it's just dividing off. It's like Vaishnavite tradition and Shaivite tradition.
Okay.
But
This is how they divide. So this is the story you were telling about how these thing divided Judaism and
but in Judaism that worship was in Hindus, I think that was permitted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we like Hinduism was like pretty comfortable or pretty.
I would say even if it happened in Greek religion, that would have been permitted because there were demigods. Because that's a thing about multiple gods.
Yeah, it's flexible. You're flexible. Yeah.
But in this case, there is only one God. So the moment Jesus Christ could not stay there as a god,
okay,
or one of the gods, he either had to be the Satan, or he either had to lead them to hell, or he would lead them to heaven.
So there's this dissection of like black and white. There's no there's no gray,
That's what I'm saying. So that's what makes, so all of this is probably just some random explanations provided back in the days, but that explanation is more flexible.
Yeah, I think religion and all these like stories, like consider Mahabharata, Rama and everything. I personally think, okay, so this is my take on the God part. I would say, like, I'm not an atheist, like, but still I deny the existence of a certain power or something, because so this
but then how? I mean, so if you deny the power of something, then explain.
Yeah. So let me gather up my thoughts and articulate it in a better way.
Yeah.
So this is what I believe. There's no one seeing me.
Yeah.
There's no one controlling me. Because if there's a God, if there's someone looking at me, either I should believe in it, or either I should be afraid of it.
You couldn't do the things that you do.
Bro, I should be afraid of him. If he has this power of controlling me, I should be afraid of him.
Yeah, that's what that's what they did to the prehistoric people.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there was someone, he was a mathematician or something, like it was a probability. He came up with probability theory, I think, and he said, like, I don't know if there is a God, but if there is, it's a very, very big power he has. So because then you have to be like afraid of him. So the same idea I'm telling about. But how I treat religion as is like, I think religion is needed. I think community is needed because people are not that strong. People are not strong enough. People are weak mentally. People are not. People need some kind of support. People need some kind of hope, and this is what I've talked about in one of my podcasts earlier. So we were talking about Shivaji Maharaj's story, and there was this time when there was some chaos in the society, and people needed something, and a lot of saints came up with Bhakti movement, and then Bhakti movement was like belief in the God, right? So we need certain entity, and if that entity is sacred, if that entity is powerful, not human, people would trust him. Like people's belief, I would say. And firstly, the difference between belief and faith is same.
I have something against what you're saying, but then
we can have that argument. It's okay. So this is what I believe, and I'm not saying like there was no Krishna. There was no Krishna in the mystical sense.
Yeah,
he wouldn't be like the way it's presented in the Gita, the way in a mystical form, like he can grow big and
the Sahasranamas,
everything, and they can fly and everything like that. I don't believe in those.
No, it could have possibly been like a story between like 5 brothers and 20 other nephews, and then it possibly got
100.
No. In reality, it is. I mean, in the story, it is 100. I'm saying it could have. In reality, it could have been a fight between 5 brothers and a band of other 20 brothers.
25. Yeah. So,
but then over generations, it became 100. But the 5 still remained because they won, and the 5 against 25, and then 5 against 100 is better than 5.
It's a story thing, and I think so.
I'm not saying it is what it is. I'm saying it is what.
There's a possibility. There's a possibility, but I think that is not important. The important part is when you have a religion, when you have these kind of stories, when you have these stories which are metaphorical in nature. So you have these stories as a metaphor, and the one thing which you should learn from all these stories is like just the philosophical meaning, the way of living life. And this is why I'm like more of a Krishna believer. This is why I love Gita. This is why I like Again, if we talk about the polytheistic and monotheistic differentiation, so this is the part which I love about when it comes to Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhagavad Gita is basically what? It's basically the conversation between Arjun and Krishna. And it's like a back and forth question answer. This means that the God, Krishna, is allowing Arjun to ask questions. And it's not like this is what I've said and this is what you have to believe. And when we talk about Bhagavad Gita again, so this is it comes in like Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. So this is like one of the parts of Bhagavad Gita. So when Arjun is on the war land and like he's standing in the Kurukshetra, so he asks Krishna like, I don't want to do this. I think this is not, I don't want to kill my brothers, I don't want to do this. And he was like, okay, you know what, you have to fight for the dharma as such. You have to establish dharma in the society, and you have to do good to the society. But he was like, no, I don't want to do it. But he explains that
duty and
that your duty as a karma yogi right now is to fight.
Yeah.
Your duty changes when you become a bhakti yogi, and so it's all about situation. It's about like, it's nothing. It's again comes to like morality is subjective. There is no objectivity to it, and I think Indian religion gives that huge spectrum for you to be the
I mean the only difference I see in that between Indian religion and the other one is the fundamental difference of the one God versus many God. I see whichever forms of extremism and whichever forms of bad things that can arise of monotheism can, could and will arise out of pantheism as well, as we have seen like multiple times throughout history. Like you have multiple examples, like even within India.
We'll come to that.
Yeah. But just going back to something that I wanted to address from you, this thing like the bhakti,
the argument.
Bhakti movement and everything. So if you think of the religious belief like a slope, okay, this is the religious belief,
okay,
and this is a slope, and this is the extreme end of the religious belief,
okay.
And you are a religious fanatic or an extreme believer.
Yeah.
So you might be a rational believer, not a fanatic. So if it's like something like this, extremism, religious belief, then fanatic could be here, a saint could be here. Okay. So this is happening, and you as a saint is feeling that the society is going out of control as per the religion. Okay. It is the same religion that both the saint and the extremist believe in. And in our graph, most probably they are at equal levels of conviction. It's just that the conviction comes out in different forms.
So you are saying...
What I'm saying is, so the argument was, when they pull the society through a movement back into what it was, they are resetting the society into a pre-programmed mindset. You are now trying to get out of it. You are again dragging the society back instead of trying to move forward. So what I said earlier was that it was a set of constitution, right? So when a bhakti movement happens, I'm not saying it was bad. Probably it is good for the times. It is. It was. And probably it's not probably good for today. If that happens today, it's not good.
We don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then what happened was that the bhakti movement put religion back into square one. Right? And then the progress have been made through whatever has been occurring. So like
again that thing is like, again it comes to like evolution. Whatever you start, whatever thing you start based on a utopia in your mind, it will become into something else. It will evolve by time.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of religions as such. If we talk about like this Abrahamic religion as Islam, it's not evolved yet. But Indian religion has evolved a lot, right? So there's evolution which you need in a religion, and it happens automatically. So Bhakti movement in particular was more likely, so people don't have hope right now, and they need some entity, right?
Yeah,
they need a belief, a sort of thing, and the saints come in, you know what? Just believe in this thing. This is something.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, if you look at it from my perspective, the fundamental thing that they are saying is wrong or untrue.
So what's your fundamental thing? What do you think?
There is no God. Or they're saying like, do all of these things because there is a God. Because that is a fundamental argument.
Everyone is not rational, right? We need some kind of story. We need some kind of
What is the difference between saying if you steal something, you will be in jail for 6 years? Exact amount of scaremongering, fearing the person into not doing it. As same as saying, if you steal something, Jesus Christ or Krishna is watching you and you're going to suffer for eternity in hell.
So there's a difference between two prisons. One is a physical prison, one is a mental prison.
But it's a
and constitution keep the person in a physical prison, and religion keeps the person.
Did that ever stop anybody from stealing, raping, killing, having wars?
So same case with the constitution.
Yeah, so it will happen. Like I said, When I answered the question of what is morality, I went to an evolutionary response. So if you have fire and you put your hand over here, you would want to take it back. But it's not like you cannot keep your hand over there. You can burn your hand.
But to the extent I'm talking about.
No. Like, whatever extent it is. I can do this, no? It's the same sort of an argument that comes here also, right? Like, because morality is this thing. So if for me morality is evolutionary and not based out of a divine power or a structure of set.
But the thing with the religion, it works in a way that if the constitution tells me that if you kill someone, you'll be jailed, right? There is a loophole right there that for them, if they are killing me, so like so the loophole is if they are not seeing me killing someone, it's fine, right? And then they can kill anyone, right?
Try to get away. That's a legal system.
But when it comes to the morality which come out of a god and a religion thing, and if the person and we are just talking about the people who are following the constitution and who are following on the other side following the religion, right? So there's a higher possibility here of not doing the crime, and there's a very low possibility here doing the crime, because here the constitution is governing you, but you are afraid of the constitution seeing you. There's a surveillance kind of thing here, and here the surveillance is physical, which can be escaped, and here the surveillance is mythical in sense, which can't be escaped, because even if you are sitting in a room which is dark and locked, the person will be feared of the entity which is looking through the room.
No, I agree. No, I see the argument in that, or I see the value in that. But what I'm saying is that never stopped anybody from doing any of these things. In human history, I would argue last 100 years, I mean, avoid the world wars, maybe not the last 100 years. Last 70 years has been the most peaceful 70 years in human history. Probably in the last 1 lakh years. And it is a time when the religion was the least powerful. And in places where there is conflict, you can see a predominant overreliance on religion.
Yeah, because we made this point earlier also about it doesn't matter. Like I completely get it. It's not the answer to the peace. It's just it's just an argument. It's just a debate, because on a reality level things change.
The way I think about it is right now is like I said, it was a tool that was used to have order in society at some point. And right now it is a tool that is getting misused to gain power in society.
We'll come to that.
Gain power or control, money, fame, whatever it is.
Okay, let's talk about it. Then you really want to talk about it?
No, I mean, we don't have to, but like...
No, really, let's talk about it, no? So, you, as you said, like, it became a tool, right? Let's refer to the thing which happened in India. And the government miserably failed at it after the results. So I'll hand over to you. I'll just set the context with what I will going to talk about. So this Ram Mandir thing, right? Ram Mandir thing. So the concept you talked about, like people misuse it. I think you're referring to this thing, right? This.
No, I was not explicitly referring to Ram Mandir. That was not in my mind. But then Ram Mandir is definitely a very big example of it.
Very big example of it. Okay, so it's a big example. And I want you to expand on this. And I'll hand over to you. Just expand that why, in this case, the religion was a problem and how it was misused. And also just talk about why they failed miserably.
I mean, it's not just a problem with India.
Why exit polls were lying? What happened to the system of exit? Were EVM hacks or the exit polls? We don't know.
No, but no, it's not just a problem with India though. So like, even in US, right, John F. Kennedy was the first non-Protestant president.
Okay.
So he was a Catholic president, I think, and that happened in 1960 something. That was after 200.
Can you explain the meaning? Like what is non-Protestant and a Protestant?
Oh, Protestants are so basically Catholic Church, as we know it today, is believed to be the church that is established by Jesus Christ. So what it means is, after Jesus Christ died and he got resurrected, he came in front of the disciples. There used to be 12 disciples, out of which one betrayed him. And then he committed suicide. His Judas Iscariot.
The guy who betrayed?
He betrays Jesus Christ and then he commits suicide and whatever. So there are 11 other people. And his final command to these 11 disciples is that go spread the religion. Go spread the word of truth. Word of God.
11 disciples.
11 disciples. Okay. So certain people went to certain places. Saint Thomas came to India. He came to Cochin, Kerala.
That's why we have the like more of Christianity spread in like
South.
The South India.
Yeah, and South India is probably one of the first places outside of Palestine even. I'm not even talking about the Arabian places. I'm just talking about Palestine, where Christianity was established.
Oh.
Like
okay.
we have creditable churches going back to 80. I mean, maybe I don't know how credible it is, but like it is believed, commonly believed. You have churches dating back to 8052. So
okay.
So Jesus died in what? 80 whatever, right? So it's like 20 years after.
Okay. And because the reason I'm asking you this, the reason I'm asking this, because I come from the north part of India, not exactly north, but like Rajasthan and this area. So I think I'm not sure about the statistics and the correct stats, but I haven't seen like a lot of influence of Christianity in these areas like MP, UP, Gujarat.
Yeah, it's
because
very less.
It's minority of minority. Like in my life, I haven't seen a Christian when I came to like Bangalore.
Can you tell the irony of it? Being in Kerala, I never thought I was a minority.
Oh.
I knew I was a minority.
On a overall level.
I 100% knew I was a minority. I knew the statistics. I knew the numbers. I knew the overall scheme of things. You're just a speck in the dust of Indian population. But you don't feel like you're a minority because it's a unique mix. Kerala is around 56% Hindu, around 30% Muslim, slightly more than 30, around 26%, 28% Christian. That didn't make sense. Probably 46, whatever. But around that figure. Nothing is overtly dominant, nothing is overtly subservient.
Okay.
And usually how it sees in culture, so in such scenarios, if the population was skewed to let's say 70-30 or 80-20 as it is now in India now, there can be pushbacks of dominance and like this tension occurring. But because it's spread across three societies, spread pretty evenly, and even demographically. By demographically, I mean like income-wise and all. Like it's spread very evenly. So there have been reasons for that. So one main difference is like it's not rosy. It's not everything is not right. Is the Hindu-Muslim conflict in South. Kerala and whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, like in Kerala, there has been relative peace. I mean, there have been riots, there have been these things, but like if you look at the entire history, it's been very peaceful. There have been like Mapla riots and other local incidents. But the reason for that is, so you know the term Kala Pani.
Kala Pani, it's a jail.
It's a jail in Andaman Nicobar, but do you know why it's called Kala Pani? You know, I mean, in Hinduism, you cannot cross seas. That's why you never conquered any sea places.
Oh, coastal places, yeah.
Yeah, like I think it like there is some curse or something. Like there is some belief in Hinduism that you cannot sail across a boat or something.
Oh,
so
I didn't know about this.
So the craftsmen in Kerala used to make the crafts. So there are this like beautiful mirrors made out of metals and like handicrafts and like these things and whatever. And there were Muslims who naturally resided over there, just like you and I came to US for trade and commerce and purposes, because there was connection between Arabia and whatever. So another fun thing is one of the first places outside Middle East that has a church is also Kerala.
Okay.
It's also Kerala. And also one of the first places outside Middle East to have a synagogue is also Kerala. It's probably one of the only places in the entire world where all three are in unison. Where a church that can be dated back to, let's say, 8200.
Oh.
A synagogue that
it's that old.
Yeah.
Saint
Thomas came in 8052.
Oh.
Yeah, that is a belief. Or a synagogue dating back to probably, I don't know, 7th or 8th century. Mosque dating back to 7th century. All three you can see. Like probably within like a 40-kilometer radius.
Okay.
No problem. So there has been never problem. So what I was saying, this handicrafts, right, that Hindus used to make, they cannot go over there and trade because you cannot cross it.
Yeah.
But Muslims used to religiously do the Hajj.
Hajj. To Makkah and everything.
To Makkah and everything. So they used to take the handicrafts and they used to sell it there.
This was a
supply chain back in the day.
Okay.
So it's a society built out of convenience. Rather than hatred. I mean, hatred was there, but...
So the point you were telling me about, like, what's the difference between a Protestant and a...
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. We went to Hindu-Muslim, right? Protestant is...
I'll make sure now.
Yeah.
We don't... It's fine. Just go on.
I keep talking on this thing.
Free flow, yeah. So you were talking about difference between Protestant and non-Protestant.
Yeah, so how we went was from
11 disciples came and...
Yeah. I'm passionate about Kerala, but... Yeah, so the Jesus, out of the 11 disciples, he named Saint Peter as the rock. So the saying goes, Peter, you are the rock upon which I will build my church. Okay. So that is the quote that Jesus says to Saint Peter. Saint Peter goes to Rome. So like Saint Thomas came to India, Saint Peter went to Italy. From Middle East.
Okay. And from where these people are going on?
From Palestine.
From Palestine, okay.
Yeah, from the Jerusalem. So they went all across. And Saint Peter was the first pope.
Okay, in Rome.
Okay. And then he was killed, and then all his disciples are considered successors of Saint Peter. And because God said to Saint Peter, you are the rock upon which, and a lot of other things, Christian doctrines, it is believed that a pope has infallibility.
What do you mean by infallibility?
So infallibility means he cannot be wrong.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you say will be right.
Okay, he's the extreme authority.
Because direct access to God, or like the direct representative of God. So what happened is, over time, in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th centuries, Pope was more powerful than anybody in Europe. Pope used to decide kingdoms. Popes used to decide who this king can marry.
Because there was a notion that he is appointed by the God.
And Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, all of them were Christian countries, Catholic countries, extremely Catholic countries. But what happened was, in the 16th century, I think, 16th or 17th century, there was a guy called Martin Luther.
Okay.
He was a German pastor, a German priest. And he said, this is not right.
Okay.
You're not supposed to do this, because popes used to have like mistresses, they used to have children, wives, they used to like kill people, because it's unlimited power.
Yeah.
It's like God complex literally coming to you. And if you are a narcissistic person with that amount of power, you will do horrible things.
And at the end, he's a human. So
So if you are a good person with that amount of power, you will do good things. If you are a
bad person, and there's a possibility of becoming a bad person.
Easily. And there were a lot of bad things that were happening. And this Martin Luther protested against it. So they were called Protestants. And they were persecuted in Europe because they were protesting against Catholicism.
Okay.
They were getting killed, they were getting tortured. So they took all their property and then they came to US. That is why it's called the New World.
So New World is the Protestant world, basically.
And
right?
not like that was the newly discovered world by Christopher Columbus in a way. So like that was it's called New World, I think.
And all the Protestants came from...
almost all of the Protestants came from Germany and then England, and that's why there's a lot of Anglican and German ancestry here. There are Italians also, Catholics also migrated, or maybe probably there were Catholic Protestant Italians also, who knows. But whatever. They came here. Actually, no. The Italian and Irish population is very Catholic in US. They came here and they established this thing. So
and there were already these Native Americans existing in the US.
And all Christopher Columbus and all, we know, right? So the genocides happen and whatever. They conquered the land and whatever. And so when they established the country, they are the descendants of Protestant people. And they faced persecution in their country.
Okay.
So one of the founding principles of US Constitution itself is like freedom from religious persecution. One of the main reasons is because there were
a lot of genocides also, right? Because of this?
Probably. I mean, there probably could have been. Like,
and we don't know about it, like maybe.
I don't know about it. I mean, it's probably known. So that's why I was saying, like, US did not have a Catholic president for around 200.
So today, like, there are like majority Protestants, or like there are majority Protestants?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think around 60% or 7. Actually, I think about 20% of Christians or something in US is Catholic.
And the rest of them are like Protestants.
Yeah. But Catholicism is the second biggest or third biggest church in USA. So Protestants it's a wider sect of people. It's like calling Hinduism. Like within that, there could be a sect. There could be different interpretation. There could be Latter-day Saints. There could be Seventh-day Adventists. There could be different sects of whatever. But they are all termed under the umbrella term of Protestants. Yeah.
Okay. And so this is the thing. So when you say Protestants, is there any difference between the philosophical values between the Protestants and the...
Very big difference.
Very big difference, okay.
So, I mean, there are church teachings and there are teachings from Bible.
Again, like same goes to like Hinduism, like there are teachings which are like from the Vedas, and they're teaching, for example, Jainism, Buddhism, they are like atheist or a Gnostic religion, and they don't take the teachings from the Vedas. Something like this?
Not really.
Okay.
So, I said, right, they rejected a lot of things. And a lot of things were physical in nature. Like I said, priests were having too much luxury. They were having too much power, wealth and whatever. A lot of the other things were actually spiritual in nature. So, there are this concept of Trinity in Catholicism. It is very central to the Catholic concept. It is absolutely one of the most fundamental concepts of Catholic belief. That there are 3 persons in one God. So there is there's a Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Father is the God.
Why there are 2 patriarchal about this?
I mean, it is the concept of Trinity. I mean, so like I said, right. So the prophesied savior of this thing, right? Judaism. Yeah. He is called Son.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, maybe, who knows? I mean, this is what just came to my mind, but probably not is the answer. But there's this trinity of this splitting in nature of the concept of divinity. But they are a single entity. It is a very fundamental concept in Catholicism. It's one of the core concepts. Protestants reject it. They say God is God. Or Christ is Christ. Christ is God.
Okay, and that's a very fundamental and very important
huge difference. Because we have rituals and everything based out of this thing, and then there are like church teachings. There are other things also. For example, the virgin birth. Protestants don't believe in virgin birth. I mean, not all Protestants. Certain sects of Protestants.
What is virgin birth?
So Jesus Christ was conceived not through sex, but through.
Got it. Yeah. Protestants doesn't believe it. Like they think.
Most sects of Protestants, I don't think, believe in virgin birth.
Okay.
Yeah.
They think he was.
But Catholicism is a very fundamental component of.
Okay. All right.
Or am I wrong? I think they might believe actually. Sorry, they do believe.
Yeah.
My bad. The thing was the veneration of Virgin Mary. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the point was, you were telling me about Kennedy, and he was the first non-Protestant.
Yeah, so I was about to say, this religious hegemony against Protestants, Catholics, Hindus, Muslims exists in every culture, every world. It will exist. Probably continue to exist also. But in an Indian context, it has gone to the extreme level. It's,
the right wing.
It's almost pro-authoritarian. It's almost authoritarian.
Authoritarian?
Yeah, I would say, I would consider Indian government as it functions right now authoritarian. Might have to go back to India.
It's fine. So you don't have to go back to India. No. And if my friend is listening to this and you are considering BJP or like BJP as an authoritarian party, he's going to be very happy.
True.
So just we were talking about this thing. Okay, coming back to the topic, like you were saying that there's the problem with religion and the misuse of religion.
Yeah.
So why do you think that one of the example, which is Ram Mandir, was a misuse of religion?
Because I believe it is political propaganda.
Explain.
So, like the fact that the belief that, and maybe even the fact that Ram was born in Ayodhya, which is a very common belief, not just in India. There are Hindus in Indonesia, in Myanmar and all. They believe Rama was born in Ayodhya, something variation of the name Ayodhya and whatever. So but some believe Ayodhya is in Nepal, some believe Ayodhya is somewhere else. There are different sectoring of belief, but the common belief is it's in Varanasi and Ram is born there. For a vast majority of Hindus, especially North Indian Hindus, Ram. So that's another distinction. Ram is venerated throughout India, but he's especially venerated in North India. Like Ram is exceptionally important, but like at least in a southern this thing, Shiva has more prominence.
Yeah.
Krishna has more prominence. Kartikeya, that is Kartikeya is the son of Shiva.
Yeah.
Muruga, he has extreme prominence.
In south of India also, right? Yeah.
Extreme prominence.
Kartik has a lot of prominence. I don't think in north of India Kartik has a lot of prominence.
No, it's just a figure.
Yeah, it's just a figure.
Yeah.
It's just treated as
Ganesh
the son
is much more prominent in north than south.
India. North and like Maharashtra and everything.
Kartikeya is much more prominent than Ganesha in south. So all of this. So what I believe is that a lot of Hindus in India genuinely wanted that to happen, and they genuinely derived pleasure out of it.
Mostly north of India.
No, any Hindu, like for
any Hindu, right? Even if it's in South India.
I just talked about it during veneration. I'm not saying Ram is not a god or whatever. Ram is an extremely respected, venerated god. Rama is also a chant. It's just that Krishna might be more popular or more expressed form of.
I'm not sure about the popularity between Ram and Krishna. I have never
it's one and the same at the end, right?
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's same.
7th and 8th, 6th and 8th or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Avatars of Vishnu.
Actually. They're both avatars of Vishnu.
Yeah, so it's same thing. No, but so what I was saying was like it genuinely, I think, brought a lot of joy to a lot of believers. I am not denying it. But that was used for political gains, and there could have been other ways of going about it. I would say maybe deconstruction might not have been, like I told you about this. For me, deconstruction of history is not right. I mean, it has happened throughout history. That is again a fact.
Yeah.
But I would rather have that still exist there, and maybe with the same cause they had, maybe they could have had an outer complex. Maybe it might not have been exactly the same place, but they could still have the Ram Lalla in the exact place, almost in the exact place or something, right? And still preserve. I think that would have been a much more beautiful representation of India than what happened, because that's what we like. Hum saath unite, diversity in unity in diversity. I mean, these are all things that we learn and have said every day with the pledge and everything. Right. So I think that was a very.
So you think it was a good thing which happened, but
no, I don't think it is a good thing or a bad thing. I think it is a thing that happened because of political propaganda.
Because of political propaganda, and. Okay, because in most of the Hindus are happy about this, and I don't know.
So the Babri Masjid issue was an issue, like a very big issue, but still somewhat localized issue. It was localized as in it was still a big talking point, but it was never emotional. This thing high point till Babri Masjid happened.
Yeah, because they lost from Varanasi, bro. That was a
this time
no, they lost after Ram Mandir. They lost from Varanasi. I was like, I'm still not able to fathom this thing, how.
No, but that could also be a lot of other things also. I mean, it could be that a lot of people who wanted to vote for Modi did not come out and vote for Modi, because I think that also played a big part. The propaganda was char so par and everything, right? So a false sense of security, even a bigger or even a sizable chunk of society wants Modi, probably due to the ideology and whatever it is, but
yes, in this ideology, people are coming up with the Sanatani Dharma thing, and
but they see the things happening in the society, right? Like getting jailed and whatever. Yeah.
Again, majority are Hindus.
Yeah.
So.
No, I don't. Yeah, no. I have faith. I like it all. I always believe we get better.
I know. So I get it. So I get your stance on this thing. And I completely agree with this. So this is why I think one of the problem which I think about the religion is if you tend to appoint someone as an antithesis of a divine power which is already exists in the society, that someone that which you have appointed becomes a divine.
Yeah,
which is communicated in the movie called Oh My God.
Yeah.
So I think this is one of the things which
I mean that is a lot of things. No, there is this social reformer in Kerala called Sri Narayana Guru. He's an insane person. So he has done insane shit. So he has said things like one caste, one god, one religion. He said
who's this?
Sri Narayana Guru. Read up on him. Insane ideology. He was a Dalit guy who fought against the caste system, caste system in Kerala was right now it's one of the most
I want to talk about the caste system and Varna in some other podcast, but I think I get it because it's a big topic.
Yeah.
And I think you have a lot to say on that.
Yeah,
right?
no, the caste system in Kerala was extremely bad.
Huh.
Like you couldn't, like if you and I walked and you were higher caste and I were lower caste, my shadow couldn't touch your shadow because that would make your shadow incorrupt. I could get beaten up for it. So that levels of caste system, like women of lower social strata could not cover their breast. If they had to cover their breast, they had to pay a tax. So there was this this social reformer called Nangeli. She went to the king and she cut off her breast. This happened in 1910 or 1920 or something. She cut off her breast as a protest against it. So a lot of these social reforms happened in Kerala. Swami Vivekananda called Kerala as a mental asylum of India. Yeah. Because the caste practices were so bad.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah. And so Srinarayana Guru went to a temple because lower caste Hindus couldn't enter into a temple. Srinarayana Guru went and because anything could be a god, right? And Shiva Linga is usually a rock. So he placed a rock and said this is Shiva and started worshipping or something. And the story goes, somebody said and came and said that you cannot worship. And he said it's a Irava Shiva. So it's a lower caste Shiva, not a higher caste Shiva. So what's your problem? So he was like a big reformer. But these kind of thing happens.
So this is the kind of things which happens when you misuse the religion and everything. Yeah, I completely get it. So
even caste system was in a way control and everything.
Yeah. I think this is.
I'm surprised you want to talk again. I'm surprised you said another podcast after this.
Bro, I'm up for talk. This is. I think we haven't talked a lot about things yet.
Yeah.
Still, like I get your stance on religion thing, and I mostly agree with this. And a lot of people are mistaken with the religion thing. So, for example, I was talking about the Jainism thing, right? So people are not aware about their own religion. So I am a Jain, right? I don't follow any rituals or something I like to follow rituals, like. So this is what Richard Dawkins said. Like, I like the bells in the temples.
Yeah, no, rituals are fun actually.
Yeah. And I was like, the way he takes stance on the atheism, because it directly contradicts whatever he says. Like, it's again some sort of following of religion or acceptance of religion. When you say that, because all the bells and everything, prayers and everything came out of religion, right? So you have to be like a little flexible in accepting the religion, the good part of it at least. Rather than rejecting it completely. This is why I hate the modern atheism part. The extremist part.
I have had this argument with my mom, and what I tell her is, if you can differentiate between what is the good part of a religion and a bad part of a religion, you don't need the religion.
It completely destroys the existence of it. Like, you don't need it.
Yeah. Because it itself proves it doesn't come out of it.
Yeah, it's not solving the purpose. Right, simple. Yeah. So when it comes to like Jainism, I like the rituals. I like the ISKCON has a lot of these things, like people go there and like dance and everything.
Where?
ISKCON temple. So it's ISKCON, Krishna consciousness.
Yeah,
so they dance and everything. I like that thing, and so this is what happens. Like, I have this problem whenever I go to a temple or something. I'm not able to join hands because I know there's nothing. Because I have that belief. I don't know what exactly happened to me, and because if I'm afraid of something, then if I'm afraid of the light, if I'm afraid of the light which is in front of me, I'm treating God as a light. Then I have to be afraid of the dark also.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be afraid of the dark. Then I have to accept that there's no light.
Yeah.
So I think this is how, like, I used to be like very afraid of dark actually when I was like 17.
No, but there is light though.
Huh?
There is light though.
What do you mean by that?
Like you said. No, I was kidding, bro.
Fucker, bro. I'm talking about the light not metaphorically.
Yeah.
Destroying my metaphorical experience some things. I hate it. Okay. Anyways, so because if I'm afraid of the dark, I have to accept the light, but if I'm not afraid of the dark, I can't accept the light also.
Yeah.
So this is what happened, and I treat the Krishna consciousness, or like not Krishna. This is this con thing. I treat the Krishna learnings. I treat the Indian philosophy things, whatever I've learned, whatever I've read, as my way of living, and So whenever I talk to people, this is what I do. I talk to a lot of people when they're like depressed and when they're not feeling good about themselves, when they don't know what to do. So when I talk to them and like give some pep talk kind of thing, so I use a lot of references from Karma Yoga. Because so this is what happens. People are just,
Karma Yoga is what? The next one or the
first one?
First one.
Yeah, the Karma Yoga is the first one. So this is the Karma Yoga. Like my duty for example, if I'm so this is I have the argument with the 18, 19-year-old when they're going to they go for the exams and everything in the board, right? So I was telling him, for right now you are just 18-year-old. You have your duty, your dharma is to go for the exam. As a karmic, as a karma yogi, your focus should be studying hard and give your exam and be good at it, right?
Yeah.
Your focus is not to like go to temple and pray to God. You know what? I should be like help them to be good at their exams or anything. Yeah. Being a karma yogi is not being a bhakti yogi. Like you can be into bhakti, but not at this time. Being a karma yogi, your duty is to do this thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing wrong in that. I mean, there are, when you extrapolate it into something else and when that duty into your profession and can only be done by you and you can do nothing else but this. And when you extrapolate into something, I mean, obviously the constructs are meant for your betterment as for whatever it is, but then when you extrapolate it and then use that constructs for something else, because you know what I'm talking about, like the lower caste system and like all the caste being known by the caste names and then the caste name corresponding to a particular kind of job that they did, and then getting social strata and status out of that caste name.
Yeah.
So like all of that, I mean, so like this is the extrapolation, the other side of it. So like if this has helped somebody move ahead, study, it has also prevented thousands of children from ever getting education.
Right.
You have to think of that also. So like as an individual, if you realize that yes, at this point my responsibility is to study, and if you study hard and if you get successful, all the better for you. But then if that same construct doesn't allow somebody who is, let's say, equally or even more talented than you to even learn how to read and write, then how can you say that structure is...
Yeah, it's a nice argument. Yeah, I get it. So this is what I tell people, so this is the way I follow my religion, I would say. I treat India as a philosophy rather than religion. Hinduism or Sanatan. I treat it as a philosophy so that I can learn from it. And there will be a time, so you know about Charvak philosophy? Charvaka? So Charvak is a philosophy or a religion, I don't know exactly what it is. So there was a philosophy which existed long time back, and it was a atheist philosophy. So they're like, just enjoy the life. Just take loan money out of people. Just drink alcohol and just enjoy life. So this is how they used to. And there's no God. There's just materialistic thing and everything. So there was a Charvak philosophy. Other atheist philosophies, a Buddhism philosophy, Jainism philosophy. So I just treat myself as a person who can learn from this philosophy and become a better person, have my own morals, which is sort of a consequentialism thing, because I want to treat my morals to be consequential, because I don't want to like base my morals on something which people have made distorted. So when coming back to the Jainism part, okay, so I'm a Jain, right? Jainism philosophy says that the world was already existing. Then we have it's not created, so they don't believe in a creator.
Okay.
And so this is an again atheist stance. There's no creator, there's no God, and when there is no creator, no God, you come up with again like subjective morality, and they believe in the reincarnation and everything. Punarjanam, we would say. But they don't believe in the God. They have their own set of morals. They have everything on their own. And Jainism.
No, but you do. What is the name? Like you do have venerated one, right? Most venerated one, Mahavir. Mahavir. Yeah,
Mahavir. Yeah. So that's people. I'm not sure like people treat him as a god or something. Again, he was a Buddhist sort of thing, right? Okay. Mahavir was same kind of. He was a person. He was a king. So it gives him the human touch. But people, this is again philosophy. Krishna was a king. Now you treat him as a god. Buddha was a king.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly, and then you just treat him as a god. I think because you don't want to follow a person who is not sacred, who is again, you have to make a god out of him. You have to make something divine out of him to follow, to have a set of morals, to have a set of values, to have a set of rules. Again goes back to religion thing. So my point was, so in Jainism there's a two dissection of I would say religion. I don't know, two dissections. One is called Shwetambar Jain, one is called Digambar Jain. So I'm a Digambar Jain, but the Shwetambar Jain, so I got to know about this thing recently, like when I was in my undergrad. So Shwetambar Jain has two other dissection. So it is Mandir Margi and Sthanakvasi. So see the like sort of so exactly. So what they say is like Mandir Margi is you can choose to go to Mandir and go to temple and treat the deity there. And Sthanakvasi is like you don't have to believe in like Murti Puja and anything. Like you don't have to believe in a particular Murti or like a sculpture, whatever it is, deity.
Yeah.
So there's two dissection. So Jainism was so flexible about this, like it's your choice, right? You can either go to temple, you can either just follow the religion as on your own, like. But the problem is they have again sort of created it. It's like a jati thing.
Oh, okay.
So for example, if I am born into a Mandir Margi family, then I am supposed to follow the Mandir Margi. I call myself Mandir Margi, but it is not supposed to, because Jainism gave you the freedom to call, like if I'm
yeah, I mean that probably would be a family thing also, right? I mean you probably could, but then there could be not. I'm talking about your family. I'm talking about like generationally, like family pressure of you disowning your family and moving.
It's not disowning.
I mean
if you are following a religion, which gives you freedom. Like for example, if my mom,
I wouldn't agree with that, because like if you think, when a person converts in India from one religion to the other,
it's not a religion again. I'm telling you, Mandir Margi, and this is not a religion.
Oh, sex.
This is just a way of living.
Oh, okay.
So being a religion is Jainism, and we are dissecting into like Shwetambar and Digambar. That is just set of I would say certain rules and then certain rules. That's it. And in Shwetambar there's like other dissection. It's like whatever the entity we treat as a divine in Shwetambar Jain. Like if I ask him and if I go to him, like, you know what, like if I'm son of him, like whatever, he can tell me, you know what, if you believe in the deity, if you want to treat a deity, you can just be go to temple and just pray there. And if you don't want that, you can be the Sthanakvasi. It's a freedom thing. Like it's not a jati thing.
Oh, okay.
It's just a choice of praying.
But now it's getting assigned.
It's not anymore kind of prayer thing. It becomes
it was
a jati
supposed to be a choice, but now it's an assignment.
Yeah. And I don't know why, because if I'm born into a Mandir Margi family, not Mandir Margi is not a family. It's not it's like, it's just a concept which I believe in. Like my mom can be Mandir Margi and I can be Sthanakvasi. This is what my religion tells me. This is what Jainism tells me. But people don't think about this in a certain way, and they just treat Mandir Margi as a jati thing. So I have this argument with like lot of Jain people, like I know in my family and everyone, and like you are confused with your own religion. You don't even know. Jainism in a crux is an atheist religion, not atheist. It's a Gnostic religion. Right? I would be precise, because atheism and Gnostic is a different thing. So it's a Gnostic religion, and if it's a Gnostic religion, you still pray to a god, you still pray to a creator, because there's again, like, because we are confused with a lot of religions. Hinduism is there, and people just get confused with the creator, because we have Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and we then have Jainism also. So being a Jain, I'm also a Vaishnav.
Yeah.
That's a confusing part. So that's why we don't have the proper concept of God.
All Jains are Vaishnavas, no? Because you do the you thing, right?
It depends. Like you can choose.
You can choose. Yeah. I didn't know. Oh, okay.
Some Digambars are Vaishnavas.
Oh, okay.
Some you choose. Like my parents have chosen to be Vaishnavas. Yeah. So I'm sort of like Vaishnav. So that's why I'm like more of Krishna thing. I don't go to temple. Like it's not like I don't bow down to something again, because I don't think there's something else. I just become I just feel that dhyan thing. I more focus on dhyan thing. I being spiritual, being aware, I would say. So yeah, this is what the argument for the Jainism. Yeah, I think we have discussed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right? It's what?
I think you have enough for two.
Huh? I think it's 1 hour 43 minutes. And yeah, so let's see. You're gonna watch Panchayat?
Panchayat, I don't know. I have some work to do.
Not today?
No.
because we were watching the other day, and I just want to say this because we are sitting right now. So I wanted to say this. So the part which I wanted to say in Hindi. So this is what I do. You know Osho?
Osho, yeah.
Yeah. So I started listening to Osho like a lot. I just listen to him. I'm like washing my utensils. I'm like, I just want to listen to Osho. And Osho in Hindi.
Oh, probably it's
like,
different.
It's heaven, bro. It's like, it's so divine thing. And it's like, I don't treat him as a Bhagwan, a God or something.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. It's just a philosophy. Osho in Hindi, it's terrific. So because I listen to Osho in Hindi, I have a lot of talks in Hindi, like proper core Hindi. So I'll explain to you, no worries. So we were so we were seeing this thing, right? Yesterday on the Panchayat, right? So there was this scene where the Prahlad, So in this scene, because Prahlad is like very nihilistic, and they were so artistic about it, they were showing him drinking alcohol and everything. So they were showing the contrasting thing, that he's drinking alcohol and his house is like so messed up and everything.
And he stopped.
And this is pure portrayal of being nihilist in your life. And so this is what I say. क्योंकि प्रहलाद जो था वो नाइलिस्ट है अपने लाइफ के अंदर, एंड वो जब वो अम्मा के साथ जाता है वहाँ पे अपने घर पे, एंड शी सीज द प्लेस इज डर्टी, और वो कहता है कि लाइक यू नो व्हाट, जो घर होता है खाली घर काटने को दौड़ता है, तो क्यों तू सोने को ट्रेड करना चाहती है पत्थर के लिए. सो इट्स अ ग्रेट मेटाफोरिकल एग्जाम्पल वो उस बात को समझाने के लिए. सो देन ही कम्स इन, फिर वो बोलती है कि तेरा घर इतना गंदा हो रहा है, चल मुझे झाड़ू लगाने दे. तो झाड़ू लगाना शुरू करती है. प्रहलाद बोलता है कि नहीं आप मुझे तो झाड़ू मैं लगाता हूँ. तो फिर वो बोलती है उसको कि अच्छे से लगा, लाइक उस कोने से. एंड प्रहलाद बोलता है कि अरे क्यों अम्मा, अभी फिर गंदा हो जाएगा. तो फिर वो बोलती है कि कोई बात नहीं, फिर लगा लेना. तो ब्रो जो ये था ना, तो आई जस्ट डिराइव सम फिलोसॉफिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट फ्रॉम इट ऑफ द लाइफ, मीनिंग ऑफ लाइफ. तो वो ये था कि हम लोग सब एक रेस में दौड़ रहे हैं, ठीक है, टू अचीव समथिंग, टू अचीव दैट गोल. एंड हम इस चीज़ की अपेक्षा कर रहे हैं, एक्सपेक्टेशन कर रहे हैं कि हम जो अभी का जो हमारा दर्द है, हम इसको झेल लेते हैं. हम अभी के दर्द को झेल लेते हैं, क्यों? इस चीज़ की आकांक्षा में कि हमको वो सुख मिल जाएगा एट द एंड, राइट? लेकिन हम जब इवेंचुअली, सबको पता है बात कि हम जब इवेंचुअली वहाँ जब पहुँचेंगे उस एंड गोल पे, हमको पता है कि जो सुख था वो वहाँ था ही नहीं. सुख तो इस दर्द को झेलने में ही था. और अगर हमको वहाँ पहुँच के रियलाइज़ होता है कि सच जो है वो यही है कि सुख इस दर्द को झेलने में ही है, तो क्यों ना हम इस दर्द को ही दोस्त बना लें.
It's the journey, not the destination.
So I was like, bro, this is something like वो concept of absurdism था ना, कि just find meaning out of the life, this absurd life, and even if you are just cleaning the house again and again, it's not about the final thing, like the clean house. It's about like, okay, even if it gets dirty, मेरा सुख, मेरा मजा उसको क्लीन करने में बार-बार. अगर मैं उसमें अपना सुख ढूंढ लिया ना, तो मेरे को
this is slightly dangerous. I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
No, not used for anything else, but like it's a very good philosophy. I like absurdist, but then
it's Albert Camus.
No, it has the potential to.
It's from Albert Camus. I'm telling you the philosopher.
No, I'm saying it has the potential to go into like existential crisis and other stuff.
But this is a solution for existential crisis, right?
No. Absurdism. Sorry.
Absurdism is solution for the existential crisis.
Sorry, I'm confusing things. Yeah.
So true. I think this is one of the best solution, I would say.
Yeah.
Like again, that Sisyphus is rolling the stone on the mountain, and people see that what a tedious thing he's doing. And if you see him, if you realize like this is like there's no meaning out of it, but he changes it. Like see Sisyphus smiling and rolling the stone, it changes the perspective. And now you see him smiling, and you think that's a fun thing to do. And if that's a fun thing to do, let's derive the fun out of the tedious, the monotonous task of your daily life. So this is what the absurdism which Albert Camus communicated. I think this is a good answer to existential problems. Still, like I'm just in the part of exploring it. I've realized it like in last few years, but still a lot to explore.
Nice.
All right. Thank you so much, bro, for this podcast.